The third rule of engagement is to ensure your listing has scroll-stopping photography. In this video, you will learn the absolute importance of your lead photo for engagement, tips for brainstorming an engaging and on-brand photo shoot, how to ethically conduct photography research and why you should, the role of your secondary photos in one video, when to outsource photography, and sources for learning product photography. This one simply cannot be understated. We must get found in search through SEO, but the number one factor for getting engagement, those clicks, favorites, and purchases for your marketable Etsy product is your photography, especially your photography of your first photo or primary photo. It is so key, you guys, that you make sure your first photo stands out in search. After typing in a search, shoppers search fast and quickly scroll through the list of items, only stopping if they see something that gets their attention. A lot of times, sellers will take a photo and put it up on their listing, only to find that the way the item was shot doesn't best capture the item itself when it's being viewed in that marketplace grid of listings by a quickly scrolling shopper. Save yourself some grief and do some product photography research. To start, I recommend that you print out your product photography brainstorm and research handout from your workbook. Write down the words that relate to how you want your product image to feel, some props that come to mind, or photography styling that you have in mind for your item. Feel free to reference back to your branding basics worksheet if that helps you. How can your item stand out from a page of similar items? Consider contrast, texture, color, and other design elements that may help your image to pop. Natural light will generally be your best friend for the best images, but also consider that photography is just another part of your brand's storytelling. What setting, props, texture, or background can best tell your brand and your product story that in an instant can quickly connect to your customer? Be sure to do this brainstorming step before you carry on in your photography research to get all of your own ideas on paper. It's always best to create your own ideas before you consume the content of others. Starting with your own ideas before you research your product photography can help tremendously in making sure that your point of view remains unique. Next, head on over to Etsy Search to generate a search that's relevant to your product. This will allow you to see how your competition is photographing this kind of product, paying very close attention to what actually draws your eye as you scroll. You may want to take note of this on both desktop as well as mobile. How an image is cropped can be very critical to how it displays in search. Remember that you are in a marketplace, so you can't simply throw your item up on Etsy and pretend that customers will be looking at your product in isolation. You must research ethically through the lens of market research, never with the intent to replicate another's exact photograph, but understanding compositionally how your product or similar products photograph best to stand out from the crowd can be extremely helpful and save you a lot of time and energy as you prep for your photo shoot. And researching, here are some key photographic takeaways that you may observe. How closely you should crop your lead photo so that it will stand out, whether or not you need to use a model for your product, certain colors that draw your eye to a product, certain colors that blend in and cause a product photo to be easily missed, whether details are important or distracting, whether props enhance the appeal of the product or take away from it, whether any text or call-outs should be placed on your photo, whether a lead photo with variations such as color or sizing is eye-catching or a total eyesore. These decisions are dependent on your specific market. There's no one-size-fits-all formula to a winning lead photo. At the end of the day, it simply must be engaging, and the best way to get engagement is to be visually enticing and stand out from what's currently out there. Consider what's working for others and how some of your own original thoughts from your brainstorm can translate to a stellar scroll-stopping and unique product photo. For example, when searching on Etsy for an item like handmade soap, you'll see that there are several different ways that products are displaying. Some are styled close-ups with props. Others may be a colorful array of soaps filling nearly the entire image. Research will help you to identify the photographic style that's drawing your own eye, and you can take note of that in your workbook. Once you've established the style of photography that will work best for your lead photo, you can move on to planning your secondary photos. You will have the opportunity to have up to 9 more photos for a total of 10 photos and also 1 video. Your video is without audio and can be up to 15 seconds long. The point of the remaining 9 photos and video is to fully showcase your product and remove any questions from the customer's mind that may keep them from purchasing. I've included some of Etsy's suggested product photos in your workbook for your brainstorming purposes. But just know that these are just ideas. You can add whatever photos help you to sell your product to your customer. Does your product have variations or options such as sizing, colors offered, styles, etc.? Etsy allows you to list items with up to 2 variations and also link a photo to each individual variation. So consider taking advantage of that if it helps you to make your product listing more clear. Again, think like your customer. Imagine what they would do if they encountered your product in a retail store and deliver that experience to them photographically. So for example, imagine that I'm in a retail store and I come across this mug. What am I going to do with it? I'm going to hold it in my hand. I'm going to be able to feel the weight of it. I'm going to be able to pull the mug up close to my face and see the finish of the glaze where it's both smooth and rough. I'm going to be able to flip it upside down and see that there is a nice brand moment on the bottom. I'm going to look up at the display and see if there's other colors or other sizes available. I might even ask a salesperson, is it dishwasher safe or can it be gift wrapped? There's so many things that in a retail environment, customers have the opportunity to observe that you don't have in an e-commerce environment. So in your Etsy shop, your products need to be very visually descriptive in your photography. A video is a tremendous opportunity to show more angles, details, or even the process of making your item that can help to further sell your product. Etsy only requires you to have 1 photo to publish your listing, technically, and the other 9, as well as the video, are optional. But as a best practice, I suggest using all the opportunities you have to seal the deal with your customer on why your product is great and the ways that they can use it. It's also a great practice to include an infographic in your listing. An infographic is just a graphic where the focus isn't necessarily photography, but instead on information that you can use to clarify any critical information for the customer or eliminate any common questions or misunderstandings. Another great tip for new shops who do not have any reviews is to consider adding a grand opening graphic to your product photos with a compelling discount offer. Remember, you want to get those sales and reviews coming while you're still new. That's the whole goal as a beginner. It also immediately explains to your shoppers that you're a new shop, and they'll be more understanding of the fact that you don't have any reviews yet. So the point is that a well-planned photo shoot will save you time and energy as you'll be ready to hit the ground running when it's time to photograph. You'll already know all the photos you really need to get engagement and also eliminate questions so that you stand the highest chance of getting the sale. Actually photographing your item requires some skill, and there's no shame in hiring things out if you don't feel that you have the skill set or the time to acquire this skill set. It's a great time to be alive, and we have so many resources available to us to learn new skills. So I in no way want to discourage you from doing so. But on the other hand, just because we can learn these skills doesn't mean that we have to learn these skills. For some sellers, it's loads easier to hire out photography. So just know that it's a personal decision. If you are photographing your items, know that you need to really spend some time making sure that your photos look stellar. There are a lot of great classes right here on Skillshare that can help you to learn how to style, create a great flat lay, and more. The right style of photography will depend on your specific product and the research that you conducted. I'm going to link to some great Skillshare courses in the Projects and Resources tab that will, in an hour or so, bring you up to speed on the subject that separates about 90% of the unsuccessful shops on Etsy from the 10% of successful ones. This is not difficult material. It's truly a basic understanding of lighting, times of day to shoot, easily accessible materials, and equipment such as your phone. And also some upgrades available to you when you really want to level up for the best photography possible, along with some product styling tips. I want you to put your own flair into your photos and make them truly unique and appealing to your quickly scrolling shoppers. But I also want you to be aware of your shoppers' choices, your competition, to ensure that you are more visually enticing than what's out there. Launching a listing with a scroll-stopping first photo is like rocket fuel for engagement, especially clicks. So be sure to get this one right. Your secondary photo and video are the ones that move your customer from interested to purchasing, and it's your job to get them there. Do the work in your pre-launch workbook and leave no stone unturned when it comes to selling your product photographically.